Greetings, brothers and sisters. I'm Professor Spira, and I'm here at this beautiful beach somewhere in Florida. And this made me think about the stay home, stay safe mantra. I haven't talked a whole lot about coronavirus and all of this mandates and things in a long time. So I thought that I would take a few moments and just talk. So as I'm recording this is almost Christmas. By the time you see this video, probably be in January. But right now there's been like nationwide lockdowns and revolving around this concept of COVID-19 coronavirus. I'm not going to get into the specifics of it or the details and all that. I've already done that in other videos. Look at anything from of my videos from like March 2019. For those 3 months I did videos where I talked a whole heck of a lot about the coronavirus and that kind of stuff. Don't want to do that anymore. But I do want to talk about the shutdowns, these mandates, all this different stuff that's going on. So I'm out here in Florida, and of course across the country everybody's trying to criticize Florida because people right around me, there's hundreds of people that's out here on the beach. They're just minding their own business, jumping in to the water or laying out, getting some sun, just chilling. But there's people in other states that are like, all right, they're just jealous of that. It's like there's a snowstorm up in the north right now, and it's 80 degrees down here, and you can be out here swimming. So I just think there's a little jealousy along with that. But the main message I want to get through in this video is the idea that if health was as important as all of a sudden it is to so many people, then right now there would be legislation on the table to ban all slaughterhouses, to ban all dairies, and transform them politically. You could transform them into some kind of, to have something to do with plants, fruits, and green leafy vegetables, creating the fruits and green leafy vegetables that we need. That's not the case. So right now, the goofiest thing you'll ever see is somebody wearing a mask, scared, concerned that they might catch something and die, and they take their mask off just long enough to shove a Big Mac into their mouth.
This on the ground, check it out. He said, this is how I'm avoiding the quarantine 15. So he's eating like Cookie Monster with the mask on.
That is so creepy.
Right? Totally doing it wrong, Howie.
Made the rounds.
This morning.
This has definitely made the rounds. It's hilarious.
Open wide, toot toot.
And it opens and closes perfectly. Like, it's so, yeah, it's amazing.
Because remember we were talking about
brilliant engineering.
Right?
That's brilliant engineering.
How does that work?
He opens his mouth and it lifts up.
Yeah.
Well, it ties in. I think it ties into his lower jaw.
Open wide, toot toot. Then they put the mask back on. We're talking about a level of insanity and ignorance that's just unmatched. It's just like, it's incredible. It's an incredible time in history that we will look back. Generations will look back at us at this time and they'll either have a good laugh or a good cry or something, but they will react at the stupidity of this period. Because 50,000 people a day die of heart disease, 25,000 people a day dying of cancers. You have this COVID-19 and there's people that are getting strokes, people getting heart attacks. If they show up at the emergency rooms, they're saying that they died of coronavirus. And there's jokes out like, someone gets hit with a car. It was like, oh man, it was a tragedy. They got hit with and died in that car accident. COVID-19, put that on the death certificate, man. It's really sick. And it's been fascinating to watch the way that fear, they've been able to really captivate people and really have that fear, really put the fear of death into people. And if only we could do that with the eating of pus-forming foods, you know, the eating of pus and mucus-forming foods. If we could somehow harness the same fear that people have for catching some little whatever it is that they don't want to catch, if we could harness that and put that around the eating of pus-forming foods, pus and mucus-forming foods, we could transform this planet, transform humanity, clean up the entire world. I mean, it's unprecedented change that could happen, but it's not going to happen as long as you got people wearing masks, eating Burger King. The vaccines, that's the next piece. That's coming down the pike right now. They just approved COVID-19 vaccines, and so it's hot button topic, who's gonna get the vaccine first, and there's a lot of people, they pushed it through so much, so this stuff, you already know how toxic this stuff is. Now, if I was gonna be conspiratorial, what they're gonna do right now is all of the king's horses and all the king's men are gonna be the first one to have access. So yeah, but will they really take it? It's like, oh yeah, the president took it and all of the cabinet, they got vaccinated. It'd be like, behind this, and we'll never know. I don't trust let's put it like that. I don't trust unless they have a video of them, and still they could be injecting them with saline or something. I just don't trust none of it. Nothing is coming out because their numbers are corrupted and co-opted. Everything about the way that they operate is just dirty pool. It was a dirty pool, dirty ocean, dirty toilet. They live the dirty toilet lifestyle. That's how they roll. And so I'm just, we're on our own. If you are one of the people that think like we think, and you're a like-minded individual, you understand we're on our own. There's not going to save us. The government's not coming to, they'll give us like, oh, here's $300, here's $1,200, here's $300 added a week. Are you happy? Is that make you? Is that? It's like, now don't get me wrong. I'm gonna take it. give. Start paying them slave reparations now. Whatever you give me, I'm gonna take it. I'm not on no protest like I refuse to accept your hand. And like, no, give me that, because you know what I'm doing with it? I'm getting fruits and green leafy vegetables, lemons, enema bags, and it's allowing me to make these videos to try to help other people clean themselves up, to try to encourage other people to clean themselves up. So yeah, that money can be put to good use if you know how to use it. But as long as people are out here doing the pus and mucus mambo, we're gonna be in a bad situation. So
looks like a good pizza too. Oh my gosh. I could almost taste it. Boy, that tastes good. I like it. I'm gonna get another one. Tune in next week when I drink the chlorine. See you next week for the proper way to live.
Mandated vaccines, that's really what we gotta fight. And we have to wake up and just understand that this is gonna be a fight. It's gonna be it's like, it's not gonna be easy. They're gonna try to find ways. You can't come in unless you have your vaccine card. You can't come in and, it's gonna be the old, we're not supposed to have to show that kind of stuff. You're not supposed to have to show your ID for, you know, like some salad on my tooth or something. Yeah. I got sand in my mouth. You know, we're not supposed to have to do that to show credentials just to move about, or at least in this, whatever this concept of freedom and democracy and all this kind of stuff that they feed us, you know, that it's like, okay, if you say so, you know, whatever. We're gonna have to be real educated. We're gonna have to learn how to mobilize with one another, with like-minded people, pool our resources, connect ourselves, you know, with who, those of us that have similar interests. You know, we're gonna have to, you know, really get serious about that, because it's, you know, it's not gonna be easy. They're not gonna make it easy. So be ready, and hey, maybe nothing happens, and that would be great. You know, maybe there's no, the political backing isn't there for them to be too aggressive, to really force. But understand that it's always part of a longer transition, because even though a lot of us could care less about transition, the powers that be that want to dominate and control every little thing that you do, they actually are masters of transition. But they're masters of transition because they know it works. They just care if it works or not. I don't care. They're not trying to rush. They know that once certain things change, there's no going back. That it's permanent changes. And you do that slowly. So, you know, a curfew here, take away your rights, just a few rights here, not all at once, just a few. Just, you know, be out of these restaurants by 9 o'clock in the evening. You know, be off the beach by a certain time. You gotta wear a mask when you come in here, even though they're private establishments. They shouldn't have nothing, there should be no mandate. That should be 100% illegal, according to the Constitution that people have said to die for. That if you're into that sort of thing, if you're into that document, which is, to me, is actually it's not a great document, but people worship it like it's a Bible. So all right, let's go with that then. Based on that document, then supposed to respect privacy. And so no private business or establishment or location should be forced to have people wear a mask or to do any of that. I mean, that's if you are into the whole freedom concept that you seem to believe in. But it's just showing you that it's a farce, that whole thing is a farce. It's always been a farce. Black people in this country have known it's been a farce, more so than many other people have. Or so it seems. It's fake. It's a fugazi. It is there, the noble lie. Read Plato, you know, the noble concept of the noble lie. You know, he's talking a little different context, but just apply it. Just that the people in power always got to tell some kind of mythology, some kind of lie, some kind of story. Keep everybody in line, keep everybody appeased and happy. And the only way out that I know of is study, practice, and practice Mucusless diet. You know, study, really understand how the world works, study history, really study history. You know, study politics, study art. I'm just someone that really advocates cultivating your intellect along this path, that can help save you. And I'm not saying anything that you probably didn't hear in a Saturday morning cartoon PSA, where they talk like that, but nobody ever really is serious about it. And then when somebody shows up that's actually serious about it, all of a sudden, oh, they're radical. They're doing their own thing. They're thinking for themselves. Heaven forfend. was like, well, it was just a PDF that just, or a PSA that just told me to do that. That I grew up with that used to say, be your own person, think for yourself, you know, all that kind of stuff. And so
let's eat smart.
Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
as long as the fruits and the vegetables are available, do what you know, use them. Use them until they're, until they're gone, or until they say, you need to, you need a vaccine badge before you can come into my store to buy my fruits and vegetables. And if that becomes the case, by that time, we need to be growing our own food and then again pooling our resources. So if enough of us start to grow our own food, and if we're growing too much, now we can start to barter with one another, and then we just create our own nation. And I speak of that as if it's not a big deal, because it's as simple as that. That's how this thing started. When people tell the American, the United States story or myth, it's about people that was like, man, let's just start something else and base it on where we came from. We'll tweak it, and we're gonna start something else. Well, we're at that stage now. We gotta start something else, and we might be able to come together and really start something real unique, a structure that's no one's seen before, a political structure, economic structure, a way to live, a creed. Creativity. We can come together and really put something else together that can stand the test of time much longer than this will. This is on its way out. This cannot last. It breaks too many natural laws. It cannot last. Rome lasted for 1,200 years. The people never would have dreamed that would have fell and crumbled to the ground. This thing is crumbling right now over here. And so unless huge changes happen, it's not gonna crumble all the way just right away, but it's on its way. It's that decline that you start to see, and it's actually happening pretty quicker than you would imagine. And this is the catalyst now. There's forcing people, stay at home. Hundreds of thousands of businesses have basically had their doors forced shut because they weren't able to make a living, or make, and keep the business rolling. And there's karma involved, physiological karma that we have to deal with, because there's definitely a lot of those businesses that closed were pus and mucus businesses, were restaurants and that kind of stuff and things, and some bars and stuff. And so it's gonna work itself out. We just have to, as we always say, get out of the way of the universe. It's gonna do what it's gonna do. It's gonna clean what it can clean when it wants to clean it. So we just have to get out of its way and focus on ourselves. Transform yourself, transform your own blood. That's the key. That's the key. So I thank you for tuning in. This beautiful day, and it looks like the sun's about to come back out. There's a big cloud up here, and so the sun's gonna be back out here in a second. So yeah. So what if you would, down in the comment section, tell me what's something what's been the biggest challenge this past year for you? Just how'd you deal with it? What was your mindset as you navigated your way through the pandemic thing? How'd you deal with that? So love to hear from you. Give this video a like, thumbs up, share it with some folks, spread the word. And before you go, I want you to check this out right here. This is a great video. I want you to click it and check it out. Let me know what you think. And I will see you over there. Peace, love, and breath.